There we go. Well, good evening, America. This is your favorite, fucking, most wonderful pod. What the fuck is that, man? I don't even.
It's a rabbit shower.
A dead cat. All right, but this is your favorite podcast again. Again, against everyone's better judgment, I'm hosting Mr. Alone in the Dark out of wonderful Colorado. Hopefully, everybody survives this time. All right. Who else is out there? Puppet Master?
Yeah, this is Puppet Master from the depths of hell.
There we go. And we got one more.
Pro Chemical.
Mr. Chemical himself. We should have at least one more person showing up midway through the show. We were just trying to get some semblance of being on time this time. Now, my first topic is kind of an interesting one. It just came up. Well, it actually came up a little while ago back in Tennessee before I left there, right? And what happened is they were trying to pass a law where, like, if a woman went to the hospital and had a baby, and that baby was a crack baby or had freaking drugs in its system, that bitch will get thrown in jail, okay? It started a whole crazy fucking debate between people. I mean, a lot of people are saying, man, if they're going to fuck up a baby like that, fuck those bitches, throw them in jail. And other people were saying, hold on a second. If these women are freaking doing drugs while pregnant, especially these hard drugs like crack, stuff like that, they probably got a fucking problem. And instead of helping them, we're throwing them in jail, throwing those babies into the system, which obviously can't fucking handle them, and making the problem even fucking worse. You know? So it's kind of an interesting dilemma. I kind of see both sides, but what do you guys think about that? You think we should be throwing these bitches in jail?
Well, yeah, I think we actually should. I think that they make a conscious choice. One, when they screw up and they get pregnant and they don't want to be pregnant, that's a whole other dealing with consequences. But making the conscious choice to endanger the unborn child, that's something that they need to understand that that's unacceptable. And by helping them, we essentially give them a free pass at some point, and they take advantage of it and they never learn from their mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, do you think though that having this out there, having this freaking, we're gonna throw your ass in jail if you have a freaking crack baby, is gonna make the problem better, or is it gonna make bitches decide, you know, instead of going to the hospital where they're gonna throw me in jail, I'm gonna have this kid at my fucking house, have my dealer fucking deliver this kid, and then it's even a worse problem, you know?
I can get there. I can definitely understand that. It's just, if there's never a consequence or there's never an acknowledgement of your mistake or your actions, there's never going to be a change to make it not happen again.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, a lot of those people on, especially those heavy drugs, are dealing with some serious consequences as it is. I mean, without government intervention, you know, the lives that they're living are usually fucking destroyed, but they're still circumventing it through their drugs, you know. So, I mean, I could totally see that side of it. You know, here we are, we're just gonna let these bitches harm these kids, and we're just gonna let that shit slide. But what point is this a fucking an illness? You know what I mean?
Well,
like, hey, being fat is also damaging to freaking having kids. That's proven too. If a woman's severely overweight, you know, that's damaging to kids. Should we start penalizing those bitches too? They put that food in their face.
Yeah, you know, me and you talked about fat people before. That's a whole different story. However, you got to ask yourself, at what point do they start becoming the victim? That's the question. Are they the victim, or are they the perpetrator?
I mean, the whole time the baby's a victim. We could agree on that.
Right.
So, who's going to be the one paying the price for that? Well, what do you think, Mr. Chemical? What are we doing with these bitches?
I mean, don't lock them up. I mean, I got to pay for their damn children. I ain't get no pussy. Don't lock their ass up. Keep them out. Fuck. Make them do something with themselves.
Yeah, and that's another issue is the fucking state system with, you know, taking care of kids is terrible. I mean, I've seen kids lots of times get pulled out of decent homes. Like, there's a bunch of stories about, you know, parents losing their kids over fucking marijuana, and these kids going getting fucking raped by their foster parents, getting fucking abused, getting killed by neglect in the fucking state care, and, you know, it's something silly like fucking them getting their kids taken for marijuana. Obviously, you know, crack and shit like that's a whole lot more serious than marijuana, but is it really protecting these kids, putting them in the state system instead of leaving them with a crack addict mother? I mean, it's almost like it's worse. Worse, and it cost me money. You know, shit. That's double fucking prizes here.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know. I could definitely see both sides. I definitely see, hey, we can't just let them get away with injuring these freaking children. You know, I mean, children are always the top of the victim list whenever it comes to children, then women, then of course white males all the way down at the bottom of the list. You know, but what I'm saying, I can see the whole mindset of we can't just let them walk. One issue I do have is if you look at states that aren't, or not states, countries that aren't so have their heads wrapped around vengeance and punishment when it comes to their criminals, they have a whole lot better rehabilitation rate than the U.S. does. Now, there's also a bunch of demographics at fucking play there, you know, but it seems that not only us working on vengeance and working on freaking punishing these people rather than rehabilitating these people seems to be a big fucking problem in the U.S. and seems to be making the problems worse, you know. We've talked about something like that before, like, I can't remember what country it was, but going to prison there almost looked like a fucking vacation. Like, these people went into these little cabins, had their own kitchens, shit like that. And
Canada.
Was it Canada?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. And it looked now I could see, okay, yeah, that's making it better, that's making these people rehabilitate, but what if that's this motherfucker here raped my daughter and here he is going to a fucking ski resort of a prison? I could see me being pretty pissed off about that. You know? Like, it's just, it does kind of hurt the soul to not see somebody get their fucking just due, but when we're working on the angle of making society better, rehabilitating these people, it seems like the U.S. is kind of fucking that, and this might be another part of that. Instead of rehabilitating these bitches, we throw them in prison, put their kids in state care, their kids are freaking getting, you know, beaten, tortured, neglected, shit like that, and these women get to be in prison around a bunch of hardened fucking criminals and coming out even worse, you know?
I can see it. I see both sides. It's a lot, like a lot of things, everything out there, and it's hard to find a happy medium in between one extreme to the other.
Yeah, I don't really have a good solution to it. You know, I would hate to see. I mean, my mom used to work volunteer over with, you know, kids, usually freaking babies born with fucking drug addict mothers, shit like that, and it was a terrible fucking sight to see. Of course, you're just thinking, man, I want to go fucking tie this mother behind my car and drive her around for a good while for doing this shit to that kid. But is it really going to be better for that kid? You know, if we're really looking at this kid's the victim here, we should be making life best for the kid. Just put him in state care going to be the fucking best solution while we throw his mother in prison, you know? It probably is something that needs to be reviewed on a case-by-case basis. You know, maybe some bitches could be saved and some just need to get tossed in fucking prison, you know?
Yeah, but how do you decide what that evaluation system is? That's the hard part. Yeah.
Yeah, who makes those decisions?
No.
Our judges aren't exactly the fucking best. Do you
No.
get that judge who was giving kids away to the prison, the kids' prison, or juvenile detention center? He was purposely putting those kids in prison, and that prison was giving him kickbacks for every.
Because the prison gets a certain amount of money per kid that they put in there, and and then they would kick that back because the state pays for it. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I think he just got 28 years in prison for doing that shit, right?
Good.
So, who knows how much? And that's the guy that got caught. You know, it really makes you wonder how many are a little smarter than that guy and getting the fuck away with it. So
it's nothing new. It's been happening ever since the prisons went to being privatized companies. You know, a good portion of them, it's a high percentage of the prisons in the United States are actually private companies.
Yeah. And that's terrible. I mean, we're benefiting those motherfuckers to not let people out of prison, to not make them better.
Yep.
if they keep them bad, if they keep them criminals, they make more money. So I don't understand how that whole system works. I mean, it's kind of like doctors too, though. If you there's that whole theory. A lot of those anti-vax people have it that doctors want to keep you sick. That way they make more money off you. I mean, I guess you could kind of say the same thing with prisons, you know? Like, do they really do that? Are they really doing it, or can they just sit back and enjoy the fucking criminal element in the U.S. that seems to be doing just fine without their help, you know?
I'd say it's a small percentage of doctors that probably do that, as opposed to the high percentage of privatized that actually are privatized prisons that are actually involved in the assets that people in, because it is profitable. I think there's a huge disparity between the two. But good analogy. I'll take it.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't got a solution for it. I saw the problem, and I saw the big fucking battle on the news channel's comment section. Throw those fix in prison. No, don't throw them in the prisons. Oh, you support criminals. Shit like that. Like, it was a fucking fiasco in the goddamn comment section. You know? Everyone refusing to see even a little bit of anybody's point in that fucking thing. But I think we pretty much were that. I don't really got a solution how to fix it. I don't really like either of the answers we got, which is either let them get away with it scot-free and we rehabilitate them, or throw them in prison and freaking put their kids in state care. So I don't got a solution for it. I'm just here fucking complaining. That's about it. You know. Now, did you guys see that video I put on our Facebook page?
Yeah. Yeah, I saw it.
What about
which one are we talking about?
the one with that Raven girl? I can't remember her name.
Raven or something like that. What's Raven or whoever she is? Simone.
Raven Simone. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, what she was saying is it sounded like the original. I didn't see the whole interview. It sounded like the whole interview was about her identifying as a gay person, right?
Right.
I think she just recently came out saying that she was gay. Everyone kind of knew. It's kind of like Ellen DeGeneres. We all fucking knew, but she actually finally came out and stepped up and said it, you know.
Right.
And I think she was talking to Oprah about, identifying as a gay person, and she said, "No, I don't want to identify as a gay person. I'm just a person who loves other people. That's it. I'm just a fucking person, you know." And she's like, "I hate all these labels, all these freaking things, you know." And another thing I don't like is being called African American. I'm just American, is what she said. Now, that first part everybody seemed okay with. That second part fucking pissed off whole slews. I mean, there was fucking mad people all over the place about her saying that. And it's kind of an interesting thing. Like, I remember some people, one guy complaining because he was an actor. He was British. He was also black, and a bunch of people were calling him African American. He's like, "No, I'm not African American. I've never even been to America. I'm freaking, I can't remember what they say, European or African European." So if they have a different, system out there. But a lot of people are pissed, saying that she's ignoring her roots and ignoring all the sacrifices people made to get her where she's at by not claiming to be African American, by just saying she's American, I think it's an interesting dilemma, like, really, most races, well, Asian races, and even Asians, I don't usually hear that much, like them saying they're Korean American, Japanese American. It's obviously, things you do here. It does come up. Usually when you're doing the census, stuff like that, they separate people like that. But other ones are not so big on that. They're not so big on being that separation. I could see the reason why people want to stick with that separation. Want to show that distinction, really, not really separation, but more of a distinction. But I can't really see the outcry against this girl deciding she's not. Deciding she's an American, that makes her just as much as everybody else, And it's totally 100% true.
I agree with her. I totally agree with her, but you know what? I'm going to get the response, well, you're a white guy, you don't understand. Look, I'm not a monster, alright? I'm not a monster. I'm an American.
By the way, just so I can show you guys, Dave said 10 minutes. I said 15. We
No.
both.
No, but think about it. All right, she's absolutely right. She's American. She's black. She's African American. The only African American, the closest I can come to an African American that I know is Dave.
Yeah.
You know, legitimately, he's an African and an American. That's legit. So, I mean, are we talking about descriptor? Are we talking about descriptive characteristics of somebody? Okay, then African American might be appropriate. But if we're talking about a nationality, no, she's not African American. She's American.
Yeah.
You know, I know plenty of Asian people who are like, I'm American. I'm not Asian. I'm an American.
It even comes up with my wife. Like, people ask her, where are you from? And she said, oh, I'm from California, and I grew up in Northern California. People, no. Really, where are you from? One person said, well, my parents are from Pakistan, but I was born in California. You know, that's the thing, you know?
There is something to just food for thought on this. If there is a constant push to identify you and your race separate from the rest of America, don't you think that there's a possibility that is shoving a wedge between your race and the rest of the United States?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It's embracing racism as opposed to trying to work it out so that we are just a nation of people.
What do you think there, Mr. Chemical? What do you think about all this bullshit? There, man? Yeah, what do you think, man?
I agree with her. I mean, I don't. She doesn't want to be labeled anything. She can be labeled anything. I mean, personally, when people ask me what I am, I'm a guy with a big dick, and I move all my life. That's all I got to say about that.
See, I like it.
I bet it's for you, man, because you're actually around Africans a lot. You know, you've grown up around these fucking damn Africans, which changes. Because I remember when I was a kid, there was this guy from. I mean, he was from some fucking tribe in Africa, right? This is when I went to boarding school. His parents sent him to this boarding school, and it would bother him when he would hear people say African American. He would be like, "No, man, you're American. I'm African American. I grew up in the fucking desert. There was lions that would attack my tribe every so often. I'm fucking African American. You're just American, you know?" And it was a weird fucking. It was an argument. Obviously, I stayed the fuck out of, but he had a goddamn point, you know. He came to the U.S. He was freaking African till he was like, I want to say 15, somewhere around there. It was, he had just gotten his citizenship when he showed up at that high school. He was only like 17, you know. So he had a pretty good point of him being African American since he was straight from the fucking plains of Africa, you know. But I don't know. It's a weird thing. I don't understand why people were so pissed off at her. You know, people were fucking mad at this girl for saying that. And another thing I almost wonder is, because this is going to sound like I'm freaking stereotyping, and I kind of am, but I think I have a point here. Out of all people who are less, what do you call it, welcoming to gay people, you would probably have, like, the Southerners, and probably top tier. Okay, those motherfuckers hated them. But somewhere in the top 3-4 groups of people, you're going to find the black community that does not fucking really like homosexual people, for the most part, for the vast majority. So her going through that all her life is probably why she's kind of coy about saying, yeah, I'm freaking part of African American, black culture, this and that, when it spends a whole lot of time disliking her kind, which is homosexual. You know, obviously that's not all people. I'm pretty sure most people on this show don't have a problem with gay people, and really, I think the only times I've seen people have a big problem about gay people is when they don't ever spend any fucking time around these people. It's really easy to hate people you've never met. Like, once you get to know somebody and you kind of see that fucking problem, then it kind of goes away, you know? But out of all the people I've heard severely dislike gay people, those fucking Southerners were at the very top. They'll know shit. Those guys were fucking pissed about it. But it's been a whole lot of freaking people in the black community too, disliking gay people, preaching against them, saying they're fucking wrong, making songs about how, you know, disparaging these motherfuckers, calling each other faggots. It's a whole big issue. So I could kind of see. I don't want to say this is her reasoning for doing it, but I couldn't really blame her if it was. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think her point is just that, you know, like she said, she's part of the nation of people. That's what she's trying to get across. That gay isn't who she is, black isn't who she is, American is who she is. As a member of our society, that's her descriptor that she prefers to describe herself.
Yeah. And it's easier for me too. Go ahead.
Once you start painting yourself with or painting people with descriptors those things right there is what starts setting you aside from everybody else and painting yourself into a corner or painting a certain group of people into a corner and they can't get out. I mean, it starts a perpetual cycle that is almost impossible to end.
Yeah. And it's easier for me because I don't really have a, what do you call it, a race of people that I really correlate with, you know what I mean? White people, when I was younger, I looked a whole lot more ethnic than I do now, you know. They didn't really have a good freaking, what do you call it, love for me. What's the other part of my race? I don't even fucking know, you know. So I don't really have a tribe to bond with like a lot of people do. So for me, it's pretty fucking easy, you know. It's not a big deal. American's the only thing I could really fucking, you know, nail down that I am. So,
well, let's be real. Let's be real. Even though you might not have a tribe you have a tribe that automatically would include you if you let them.
Who's that?
White man.
Oh, well, they can now. They can now, but when I was a kid, they wouldn't, man. Because I looked, being a skinny kid, I was only like 135 pounds when I was a teenager. That skinny, I looked like a fucking terrorist, and they weren't a fan. That's the fucking truth. But older was real easy because, you know, fuck those guys. You know, I'm not part of that group. So it's a weird thing. Now, definitely, I could fucking probably join in the crew pretty easily. Maybe if I got rid of this beard too, it'd be a little easier. But
no, you gotta keep that.
I was just about to say the beard is becoming, man.
I like it. You gotta get it trimmed down though.
Keeps the round out of your face.
Keep them chubby cheeks hidden. Now you know what we're talking about there? I don't remember. Jay Yester.
Caught the tail end. I kind of pieced it together. I'm assuming where one belongs.
Well, no. What else did you see that on the Facebook page?
Not yet, man. I've had a crazy day.
I'll give you a quick rundown, okay? Raven Simone was on an interview with.
I heard about that.
Okay, so you know what we're talking about now?
Yeah. The whole, she said, you know, I don't consider myself black. I consider myself American.
No. She didn't say that. She said, I'm not an African American. I'm an American. Different.
Now,
what do you think about that?
Kudos to Raven Simone. I see what she's trying to do, and I approve. I really do. I think it's something. There's been a lot of pressure on white people as far as racism is concerned, and I'm not saying that that's not justified. I don't think anybody can argue that, you know, there is a reason why most racists would press for racism against mostly white people, but every race has that, you know. I mean, I'm pretty sure every one of us has met an Asian family, and you guys know how they treat us. And when I say us, I mean anyone who is not Asian.
Yeah.
There's a thing, Asian family, that's racist, but it's one of those racism where we kind of go, they're Asian, let it go. No, it's racism, period. So what she did was admirable, but the way she put it could have been better. Let me put it this way. We wouldn't be talking about this conversation if she had said, I'm an African American, but first and foremost, I'm an American. this conversation would be a non-conversation because it'd be like, oh yeah, we understand. But it's the fact that she said, I'm not African American, I'm American. That kind of goes, you're pretending like you have a whole side of your roots that doesn't have a whole side of this culture that's very complicated.
Hold on a sec, Dave. The whole conversation didn't start out with her talking about not being African American. It started out her talking about how the fact that she doesn't see herself labeled as gay. She's a lover of people, and just like and this is almost to the way she said it. You know, I'm not gay. I'm a lover of people. I'm not African American. I'm an American. That's how it went.
Again.
So, all she was trying to get across is that these descriptors that everyone is trying to put her in a box. That's not how she sees herself. First and foremost, she is an American. That's what matters to her. The fact that she's black, gay, none of that stuff matters. You're the closest thing I know to a no shit African American, Dave. You know, half those people, half black people don't have any idea where their roots really came from, other than the fact that they're black.
True.
Does that really make them in touch with their roots because they label themselves as African American? No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Know who they are.
But also pretending like that's not a part of your roots doesn't. I don't think that helps. And again, we're all on the same page on the Raven-Symoné thing. Like I absolutely admire what she did. But the difference here is, whereas you guys kind of stand in and say, I do not see where all the ire of all these people turning around and saying, why would she say that? Why is that terrible? I actually see their ire. Their ire is from a mistaken impression, and it's kind of an American. Sorry, it's kind of an American culture thing. We tend to overreact in general as a culture. You know, like the frickin' Ray Rice thing. We talked about that forever. Really, that's not that big a deal. The point is that guy should go to jail. End of story. This shouldn't be that big a deal. It should be something that shouldn't be accepted at all. But because of our culture, because of the lack of that kind of responsibility in the NFL and stuff like that, it makes it a thing. Same thing with the Raven-Symoné thing. It's one thing for you to say, when you say something like, I'm not African American, I'm American, yes, you're right. Yes, it's the right thing to say. Yes, it's the right mentality. But okay, let me put it this way. I have a better way of showing this to you. It would be like Charlie Murphy coming out and saying, I'm not African, I'm African American. The problem here is the entire fan base that propulsed Charlie Murphy to fame was mostly African. Not until the Chappelle Show did Charlie Murphy really kind of cross over into social boundaries. By saying a statement like that, it almost seems like you're turning your back on that side of your race. Even though it's not true, we all understand it's not true, but the verbiage sounds kind of dismissive.
All right, so let me put that out there. If we're talking about going back to the roots, then every time someone asks me anything about me and my family, I should say I am a British, Irish, American. Is that correct?
In all honesty, though, if we're following what fucking geneticists and all those motherfuckers say, we're all from Africa.
No. Here's and let me answer what Charlie was saying. Here's the thing. The thing
those are
is,
descriptors of race. She's not identifying herself as the first thing that should come to her mind as who she is that she's African American. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
No. The point I'm saying is this. I get that point. You wouldn't have to describe yourself that way because you haven't had that community backing you up to your success. You see what I'm saying? It's like being a fireman and then going out one day after you become a famous movie star thanks to all the other firefighters supporting all your struggling movies when you were coming up, and then saying, I don't consider myself a fireman, I consider myself an American. Or being a military member, and after all of the struggling years of you doing whatever you had to do to be successful, backed by all your fellow military buddies, one day you stand on a podium and you go, I'm not a military member, I am an American. Are you right? Yes. Do I understand what you're saying? Absolutely. Does it sound a little dismissive of all those firemen or military members, or in her case, African
Looks like Alan
Americans?
wants to talk.
Yes. No, I'm let. Yeah,
Alan,
go
you
ahead.
have the
Go
floor.
ahead.
I'm gonna be straight up honest. Those firefighters, those military members, all those people, I don't think would have a problem with you saying that. No, I'm being 100%.
Yeah, no, and probably not. Probably not. This is again a hypothetical, but I'm trying to get you to understand where the ire is coming from. The ire is coming from not because it's justified, not because it's right, because we can all agree. That's the one thing we can agree on in this conversation. The anger over this statement is stupid. We can agree on that.
Absolutely.
Here's what I'm saying though. I understand where that anger comes from. It's not something that I can easily brush off because it makes sense to me. There's some people to whom that came off as, thanks for your support, guys, but now that I've made it, now that I'm happy, now that I've succeeded to the point in my life where I want to be, I'm not African American. I'm American.
Now, I haven't seen her show, but is her show really, do you really think that was only for the majority of her freaking people driving her to fame was African Americans?
Not at all. Her show was
Not at
fine.
all.
Her musical career, on the other hand, how many Raven Simone albums do you have?
Hey, check it out.
She's got a musical career, man.
Exactly. Most African Americans know Raven Simone was a musician too. They're the ones who backed her up through that thing. Now again, this is all kind of going around saying that we agree with what she thinks, but I'm trying to explain to you guys why that can sound insulting to a group of people.
That's great, but you know what? To be completely honest with you, because I agree with her, and I'm not even going to entertain the idea that it offends people, because it should offend her and everyone that feels that way, that she is getting treated the way she is because of this.
And I'll be honest with you. If I remember what I saw on there, Oprah herself said you're going to get a lot of flack for that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oprah, immediately after she said it, Oprah said you're going to get a lot of heat for that. You know why? Because Oprah understood what I'm saying right now, which is what you're saying is right. What you're saying is justified. But your verbiage, that's going to cause a problem. There are many ways. Let me tell you, that's what I was saying. Like that little tweet saying, I'm African American, but first and foremost, I'm American. Instead of saying, I'm not African American, I'm American. That difference in verbiage could have been the difference between a non-issue and this big thing we're dealing with.
I don't think that was her point, though.
I don't think it matters.
Again, I don't think it matters either. To you, though, and to me. But to most African Americans who feel like they backed her up through her career, especially when she was struggling, yeah, it's kind of an insult.
You know, people can take credit for backing her all they want, but all at the end of the day, what matters is that she got herself there. You know, and yeah, some people bought her album. You know, but that doesn't give them a right to dictate what she says she is or who she feels she is. None of that shit matters. It doesn't matter. You know, no other people's opinions matter, and she should just be happy with who she is and the way she feels about herself.
I agree. That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, I see the issue. I just think the people who are making a big issue of it think that they have a freaking ground to stand on complaining about it, but they really don't. You know, yeah, they think they do. They think they have an issue. They're taking offense to something that they really shouldn't. But I could see what you're saying, that there's something there, even though it's.
Hey, check out! I got this shirt from Raven. Oh. This is how she really feels.
Yeah, I bet she fucking does too. But that pretty much feels like we ran out that topic. I mean, I guess these people are going to complain no matter what we do. They're going to complain about any goddamn thing. So, might as well be complaining about that poor girl. So what's your topic there, Mr. Esther?
Did you guys have enough talk?
No, I had a topic, but I'll save that one for next week because I actually want some time to get into it.
We got 24 minutes, man. What are you talking about?
We got 24 minutes. We can kill this.
Half a goddamn show.
All right, hold on. So let me see. What was the topic? Hold on, I got to make sure I got the right one. Give me a second. Let me go through my notes. While I'm going through my notes, let me go ahead and throw this out there. to the gay guy who came to my store
I'm sorry.
and proceeded to try to offer me to wrestle after work because he could tell, quote, I have a wrestler body. Nice try.
Will you hold it
You're
against?
not gonna believe this. These two women in the living room don't know.
What the fuck? That's some serious Africanism right up in behind you, man. What the fuck? I was waiting for a goddamn spear to come flying through my screen. What is that shit, man?
My bad, guys. I'm dealing with chaos over here. Give me a second.
Damn! That sounds like a whole slew of angry minorities behind that guy. He might not make it back then.
No, I'm back. I got this. It's just something happened. Things went down. People died. They can live.
Tell that guy who was talking. God
They
fucking
forgot.
damn.
Not mess with the wife. He's got a knife, man.
Yeah, he's got a heck of an accent. But anyway, the point I was making is this.
I'm pretty sure he raised some spirits on my side of the fucking screen.
All I'm saying is this, man. It's 2014, right? I'm pretty sure if you're an old gay dude, there are many ways for you to meet an eager, willing, excited other gay person.
Hey, not
But
an
coming up
able-bodied,
to-
not an able, well-developed wrestler body African American boy.
Well, I'm just saying, though. Once I've made it quite clear I'm straight, right? There should be no reason you still go. Here's what happened. The dude came at me and kind of tried to throw the whole like. It was kind of funny because at first he was doing the whole like I have a girlfriend, but then he would go like, but sometimes I sleep with guys, but I'm straight, but you know I'm really gay. And so he kind of like, I guess he was trying to like work me into that conversation. To which I went, yeah, man, happily married, got kids, love gay people, but you know it's not my scene. And we kind of got off the topic, but he tried to bring it back around to like, nah, man, come on over, let's wrestle a little bit. And I was like, now, here's why that particular statement was hilarious to me at the time. I got in a conversation with a friend of mine who had once worked for a high-end, I think he was a financial guy kind of thing. He represented a high-end financial company in Hollywood. And what they would do is they would go to celebrities and basically go, look, you know, you have all these assets, and these are the things we can do with your assets. This is how we can help you manage them. This is your profit, your cut. This is the legitimacy of our company, yada, yada, yada. But it's like multimillionaire, like athletes and celebrities. They would go to the house and present it after making an appointment. And one of these guys had once gone to Tom Cruise's house. And in the midst of that conversation, he told us that Tom Cruise had asked him to wrestle him. And that was his basis for why Tom Cruise was gay. So when I was in the middle of my conversation with this old white dude, and he brought this up, all I thought was, isn't this how Tom Cruise tried to fuck my friend? So to that guy, and to any guy like him, I just want to make the point. If I've said I'm straight, asking me to wrestle later on won't make me any more inclined to not be straight. Even if you try to get at my ego saying, I bet I could take you. Because I can say, I bet you could. See how that's solved? We don't have to wrestle anymore.
With a bottle of chloroform, anything's possible.
All I'm saying is, dude, if this is what I went through with a gay dude, I can only imagine what girls go through in the club. I can only imagine.
Yeah, dude.
Holy Christ.
That's one of the times I feel the most bad for bitches. I don't feel bad for them very often. You know?
Just like he tried, like the angles, but it was just, it wasn't the aggressiveness of the tenacity. That wasn't what it was. It was just the attempt at being slick. But it was the worst attempt at being slick, and I was so confused. I was like, why are you trying to con me, man? We're two adult males. At this point in my life, it's like a 50-year-old dude and a 50-year-old woman meeting each other in an upscale club, and the girl goes, no thank you, I have a husband. And the guy goes, you know what, why don't you just come to my hotel and let's play Scrabble?
My hotel will wrestle.
Exactly. Like, look at those quads. I bet you could do 5 sit-ups on my chest. It's like, what? What are you doing? No, we're grown. No, stop it. I'm not a 15-year-old girl. You can stop.
Yeah, it works with them, trust me.
It's terrifying. Data disagree does not co-sign to that statement.
It works to this very day. But, about your topic, dog.
Oh, yeah. While I was looking for it, which was the whole reason I kind of drifted off on this thing.
Yeah.
Now I can't seem to find it. I had it here somewhere.
I mean, do you get a Dare to Disagree notepad or something like that?
I actually do. I'm going through it as we speak. I wrote it down before. Oh, yeah. Okay, I got this topic. And this is actually a pretty interesting topic. I know both of you guys will be absolutely down for it. I was really hoping we could hold this for next show. But if it carries on over, I hope so. Anyway.
Is it about cocaine and hookers?
No, it isn't.
Alright,
Unfortunately.
Not that excited.
That's coming down the line once the audience is warmed up. No, my question is, in 2014, if you're over the age of 25, why do people still lie? Like,
You mean, hold on. You talking about lies like, oh man, my wife deleted it. Like I'm gonna be there in 10 minutes?
no, see, that's not a lie. That's I assumed at the time it was the truth.
Oh, okay. All right.
So that no. When I'm saying lie, I mean, and I knew you were gonna go there, by the way. But when I say lie, what I mean to say is all out, full on. Just did you take that thing? Nah, man, I didn't touch it. Like just full on, unprepared, terrible lie. I don't get it. Now
It all depends on what they're lying about, you know?
No. And all right, I'll give you guys a scenario. So, I'm talking to this individual, right? We're having a full-on conversation about this whole thing that's going down. We have an issue with some money going missing in places. So we're having a full conversation, and I'm being polite, trying to bring this person to, like, I'm trying to set it up so this person can say it in a way like, you know, oh yeah, I'm sorry, I happened to take it, I didn't know I did. I'm trying to give him an out, because they are the ones who did this thing. They're the ones who took the money. But I'm trying to give them the out, like, so there's this money missing, man. I wonder, man. Sometimes I put stuff in my pockets and forget. Did you put this item in your pocket and forget it? And by the way, I already know. I verified it. I have the proof. At this point, I'm just giving the dude an out. And the person responds, nah, man, I never touched that cash. And I go, you sure, man? Because I'm telling you, like, sometimes I've been known to slide money out the side and stuff, and they're still like, nah, no idea. Eventually, it gets proven that they lied, and when we asked them, why did you lie, they were just kind of like, I wasn't, you know, I don't know. Which, by the way, is not an acceptable answer. But the thing that killed me is, we had set it up in such a way that this guy had to have known we were onto him. Had to have known. And
I'll
yet,
answer that in a second, but I gotta say something. Hey, Michelle, come get me a new drink. All right, now.
God damn.
That's who he was signaling?
That was who he was signaling the whole time.
So,
I thought he was trying to
check it out.
Starbucks.
The reason that they are, oh yeah, I guess I should have blurred that out, huh?
It's all good.
Anyway, the reason they're lying is self-preservation, man. They know. Come on. Yeah, they're not going to come out and say, yeah, man, I'm sorry, I did it. You're not going to fire me, are you? I mean, come on. They know what's coming.
And I'm glad you said that, because there is no self-preservation. If you took money, right, Puppet Master,
Right.
if you have money that you stole from somewhere, right, and I'm not bringing up anything about it, nobody's bringing up anything about it, I understand it. But if you have money and all of a sudden 1, 2, 3, 4 people are coming to you and saying something along the lines of, "Hey man, did you by any chance take this money that was over here?"
Oh, that smells like ammonia.
Would you be getting a little nervous?
Yeah, I see what you're saying, man, but some people think they're slicker than others. Like, did I tell you about that cat who stole shit from the armory right before I left?
Never did. Please bring it on.
This motherfucker.
Oh, the party's in the building, yo.
Well, tripping to the host again, man. This motherfucker
Welcome back, man.
shit from the armory, right? He stole Surefires, okay? Stole a whole slew of them.
Okay, for those who don't know, Surefires are really expensive, really powerful flashlight.
Yeah. He took them, right? Went to the barracks and started trying to sell them to everybody he could see. To which point somebody's like, "Hey, you're an armorer. Did you take these from the armory?" "No, man. My mom bought them for me." Obviously, the fucking armory was called. We came down, stomped the shit out of that kid. He got thrown out of the whole fucking unit, shit like that. But that was a terrible fucking lie. But I remember this kid came to me right before he got caught, right? Maybe 2 days, and said, "Hey man, hey Corporal, I got this thing. Like, I know it won't be the right thing to do, but I know I could get away with it. Do you think I should do it?" And I said, "Kid, I'm not the person you need to be talking to like this, number one. Number two, you really need to think about whatever you're thinking about here, because you got to understand you have to have a clearance to be your job, to be an armorer. And if you lose that shit, you're taking one hell of a risk. You lose that shit, they're gonna send you right back to go fucking retrain, probably as an infantryman or some other shit or something like that, or they're gonna kick you clear out. You need to make sure that that risk corresponds with your reward, okay?" Little did I know that shit that he was certain he was going to get away with was selling Surefires at the barracks that he stole from the armory. Maybe 200 yards away from the armory.
So
you think that's slick, man?
That's what I don't understand. And I'm gonna pose the question because I know Jay's got a story about this because I know he told me a couple of stories from the bakery about it. We're talking about people who are grown-ass adults, still full-fledged lying. Like, "Did you break that glass in the house?" lying. And the dude going, "No." Like, I know, because Jay has told me at least 5 stories that I was like, "Are you kidding me? Why would you lie?" First off, it's usually over something so petty, so silly. Like, one of the guys we fired at my job, he was in the fridge stealing a sandwich, which any of us would have bought for him because we've bought food for each other before. So at the end of the day, we're looking at the dude like, by the way, he's one of those who really needed the job, unlike most people. And we're looking at the dude like, "Why are you stealing a sandwich, yo?" And he had the nerve to get caught in a way which meant we couldn't cover for him. He got caught with another person that was high-end and new, so we had to go by the rule book, or else we didn't trust this person enough to go, "Look, dude, we'll buy that sandwich," because normally how we'd fix it is we just take it to the front, buy the food, and just be like, "Don't do that again, just ask us." But he just got caught. But again, when he got pulled into the room and asked about it, at first he denied it. He's on camera like a rat in the corner of a room chewing on a sandwich, and he's sitting there going, "Nah, man, nah." And when they show him the video, eventually he's just like, I don't know what to say. You shouldn't have been at this point to begin with. It just blew my mind that I was still, because I was like, I'm in a job where nobody is below the age of 25. I give you till about 23 to still pull off lies like that, you know. And there are even some situations where I understand you using those lies. You walk into a room, there's a dead body, you picked up an item before you noticed it, you drop that item, they come back, they go, "Did you pick up anything in that room?" You go, "No." I see it. You didn't want to be anywhere involved in a dead body case. I get it. But in some issue of like stealing money,
Here's another funny thing, man. Real quick, I'll throw this in. What I love. What's up, man?
Go ahead.
What
Go
I
ahead.
love is when you know somebody's lying, right? You know they're lying and you call them out on it, and they get mad at you for calling them a liar.
Garcia.
Yeah, that's. Hold on. There's somebody who has mad amounts of noise in the background right now.
You know.
There you go. That's better.
Alright. Yeah, dude. I've had that happen a couple times, and later on, when finally the proof comes out that they were lying, it's still like, what the fuck, dude? And they're still mad. It's kind of like that bitch who got caught on that radio station. She got caught cheating on her husband, and when they called her out on it, she was like, I can't believe you didn't trust me. Bitch, you got caught.
You got caught cheating. It's live on candid camera.
What is it? War of the Roses when they call somebody.
Exactly. Oh yeah, I know that show. Holy Christ, I haven't heard that thing in years.
That's horrible, man. That's so bad.
But yeah, let me go ahead and ask Jay, because I know Jay has a fun perspective on this. Why do you think people still lie, man? Is there any reason for it, and why do you think they still do it, man?
Man, I think they still lie because they look at OJ and see that motherfucker got off, so they just like, why not try it, man?
If that dude could get off, I could
Right,
definitely get
yeah,
off.
if OJ can get off for double murder, I can get off for eating a sandwich in a corner, no questions asked. I don't know, but like you said, you called it. I mean, like, you know, we had our fair share of motherfuckers who just habitual liars. Like, for instance, Becky.
Oh my God, that woman.
Yes.
That woman.
Notorious for lies. Notorious.
Seriously. See, Becky used to be a broad that worked at my job back in Baltimore, and
All right. Careful now.
I don't know where that went. Okay, sure, whatever.
Samantha will call her.
Oh no!
Yeah,
I'm gonna call her Becky. Nah, I don't care. I call her Becky. That broad was trifling.
And she wasn't a good type of Becky's with the.
Yeah, she was not a good type of Becky. She was the worst kind of Becky.
Yeah. She wasn't the stereotypical Becky that's, you know, the white girl with the
First
nice
off-
booty. No.
All I'm saying, you can't be that rotten a person and look hideous.
Yeah,
It doesn't work
yeah.
that way.
It's like a double negative. Them shits don't work.
That being said, we did have an evening at the job where everybody got desperate one week and we all took a vote, and everybody said, if it was the end of the world and you still had to screw Becky, would you? Everybody checked yes. Full well knowing that broad is hideous.
Wow, that's Armageddon. That's no continuity.
Yeah, it was. We laughed about it later on because we're like, would you really do it? I was like, I put yes, but I don't know, man. I don't know. She's pretty rough.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me, man, of you remember, which I guess, well, he was a staff sergeant when I left. Garcia, remember that motherfucker?
Man.
What is
That's
he
a
now?
lying motherfucker, dude.
He's probably a goddamn first sergeant now, isn't he?
No, he's not. No, he's not. He's still a staff sergeant.
But I remember, man, he lied a whole bunch. But the funniest part for me when I was arguing with him about his girlfriend, when I was like, listen, man, like I finally had to break down. I'm not one to go to somebody and say, hey, dude, your girlfriend's ugly. Okay, I'm not the guy who's gonna come do that. But I finally had to break down with that guy because she treated him like shit, and she was dog shit ugly. And I was like, listen, man. Okay, I could understand if she was a pretty girl, you suffering through this shit, but she's ugly as fuck. She's got some fucking sorry fucking kids you're having to deal with, and she's a bitch. What are you doing, man? You can find an ugly girl who would treat you right if that's what you're going for, or you can find a fucking bitch who's pretty.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
I finally had to break down for that guy, man, but he didn't listen to me. I'm sure he's still with that bitch, man.
Man, he put up with a lot, though. I know this guy that set him on fire when he was in shit. Who's that guy?
One time, man.
God damn.
On fire, actually.
Yeah.
I set Lynch on fire that one time. Remember that shit? That was an
Yeah,
accident.
don't you think it's a little odd that you've set more than one person on fire in your time?
It was on. Well, no, I don't think Garcia was an accident, actually.
No, he wasn't.
It was a little fire.
He kidding me? He
Ain't no
was
such
trapped in
thing
the
as a little
shitter.
fire on your body. There's no such thing as a little fire.
I'm just saying.
He tried to stomp it out and almost fell forward off the shitter, man.
That's terrible.
Fuck that guy, though. Seriously, he's a piece of shit.
Absolutely. I can't
I
say
bet
that.
you he's still in, isn't he? Isn't he still in? There's nowhere else for that guy to go. Where the fuck's he at now?
I'll check tomorrow.
He was a stats runner. That means he can retire, right? That means they'll let you.
No, their stats aren't. They have stats on review boards now.
Oh shit!
Oh, snap.
I couldn't believe that was a retirement. But yeah, fuck that guy. But that's our closest of our answer. I kind of got to stick with Jay on that. Is those motherfuckers?
I don't know. That it just blew me so much when that happened because I was like,
blew you away. Which
no. See, again, this is a whip incident. Blue is perfectly acceptable in the black community because we understand no homo automatic. That's on you. You should be calling no homo for going there first.
Man, we don't speak no goddamn Ebonics on the show, right? Stick with the King's English.
I'm sitting over here talking to you and a doggone leprechaun.
Anyways, now I do have a special request for my parting shot. Can you bring back that tribal motherfucker to do it, man?
You know what?
And I saw images of shrunken heads in my vision, you know?
The funny part is, you know this guy. I'll tell you off camera who he is. You know this guy.
I think I might know him. Was he real good at Gears of War?
Yes, yes, he is. He's very good at Gears of War 1. No other.
Oh man, I know
He made a
exactly.
pact never to touch any of the Gears of War except one.
That motherfucker right there, man. But who's got some parting shots, man? Let's go.
I have a parting shot. I will not wrestle any old white man out there. Just never. It doesn't matter.
Even if they're straight.
Not unless you're putting $1 million on the table.
Some indecent, what's that, indecent proposal? Some shit like that?
Yeah. That's my indecent proposal limit.
What about you, Mr. Puppet Master?
Look, man, all I gotta say is I'm not a British, Irish, American. I'm an American.
Goddamn
That's gonna throw waves in the leprechaun community.
Yeah, well, they'll deal with it.
They brought you up, man. They got you where you're at. You know what I mean?
So.
Wouldn't have had those curtains without him.
Yeah.
Now my parting shot's gonna have to. Oh, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
My parting shot.
I heard that.
Gonna have to be, if your bitch is ugly and a bitch, go find another one, okay? She needs to be good to you, or she needs to be pretty, or both. She can't be
Find one of these fat, nice, good-humored hoes. You know, the ones with a great sense of humor. They're all over the place.
Yeah,
There's
shit.
so many fat bras that will take so much.
I had to settle with a terrorist with a good attitude. You know what I mean? So if I had to.
If it's good enough for daddy. I feel like you might not live.
That's been the show. We'll see you next week. Fucking 7 o'clock fucking mountain time. What's it, what time is it? You guys' time.
6 of the PMs.
6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. I guess I should know that shit, right?
It's all good.
You guys have a freaking wonderful, wonderful evening.
If Alone in the Dark is alive for the next part of this.
Yeah, I'll be fine, man. I'll be here before.